My name is Mackenzie Yan, and this is my presentation on mental health and social media. According to Anita Whiting and David Williams, social media is defined as a cluster of online applications that allow for users to create and trade ideas through communication. Social media is used in positive ways to promote businesses and market products to their viewers. It also allows for people to connect with one another and maintain new and old relationships. Some examples of social media platforms and sites that are used today are Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Social media is free almost 100% of the time, and it is easy to access by anybody who has access to the internet. According to Josh Fergus and other researchers, mental health is defined as an individual's state of well-being. Mental health is when a person feels confident in their abilities and comfortable with the potential that they have in life. It can also be defined as the ability to make effective contributions to the community and work productively to enhance their lives. Mental health is all about the ideas a person continuously thinks about, the emotion a person feels, and the actions a person takes throughout their daily life. As long as those three ideas are each happening in a positive manner that is considered normal to society, then a person is considered to have good mental health. The textbooks written by Comer and other researchers describes mental illness as health conditions that stem from changes in emotions, thoughts, and behaviors. Comer focuses on the 4Ds to explain psychological abnormalities in people. The 4Ds are deviant, distressful, dysfunctional, and dangerous. These 4 points can be used in order to diagnose a person with having some sort of mental illness. Deviance comes into play when a person is acting out of the ordinary throughout their daily life and not following the norm that has been established by society. Distress can be used when determining if a person has a mental illness. When people do a lot of pain, emotionally or physically, distress can be placed on that person, causing them to act out in abnormal ways. Dysfunction comes in when the abnormal behaviors a person displays become too strong and prevent them from completing daily life functions. Lastly, danger is a sign of abnormal physiological functioning because people tend to become carefree and reckless, which could put themselves or others around them in danger. Overall, these 4 points do not define all people as having a mental illness, but they do, however, in most people. Most people in the world have or will have a mental illness, whether it is minuscule or severe. Many people believe that social media can cause multiple mental disorders such as anxiety and depression. However, some believe that it can in fact help those who are pre-diagnosed with mental conditions. According to J.A. Naslin and his other fellow researchers, social media actually benefits those who are already diagnosed with mental illnesses such as anxiety and depression. Facebook has been turned into a mode for acceptance, hope, and validation. Those who are suffering aim to Facebook for encouragement and validation of their illness, and it often helps those with anxiety and depression look forward to the future. Twitter helps those with anxiety and depression relate to the others facing similar symptoms. People tweet their feelings or see others tweeting their feelings, and it actually allows for them to make social media friends who are in the same position as them. A common trend on YouTube nowadays are people called vloggers. Vloggers who are people who make videos of their lives and share their experiences. Vloggers go viral. People relate them with celebrities. When a vlogger shares a story about a past experience, which possibly includes their anxiety or depression, viewers feel a sense of comfort. When those suffering see others, especially those on a high platform and who are potentially famous, dealing with the same troubles that they face, it helps them feel a sense of comfort. When vloggers share the positive and negative, their viewers find hope. Naslin refers to this as online peer-to-peer support, and many researchers believe this is a huge benefit of social media for those with anxiety and depression. So as I just mentioned, social media does have opportunities to benefit those who have mental illnesses such as anxiety and depression, but it may, however, cause those illnesses too. As many of us may be able to remember, growing up with social media being rather new, it was kind of hard to adapt. The hardest thing for me was all the trolls on social media. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, they all have users who just like to bring others down. Suicide rates have increased since the onset of social media, and is simply because of cyberbullies. Cyberbullies are everywhere, causing kids that they may not even know to just become upset. Cyberbullies consistently bring other users down, so much so that they may have led them into depression and even anxiety disorder due to the discomfort about themselves and their actions, or even what they post online. Those who do not already have depression or anxiety may develop it from the use of social media. Whether it is seeing others who they wish to be or becoming upset over stuff that they may have heard from a social media user, it is very easy for someone who has never felt negatively about themselves to start. Michelle O'Reilly and other researchers examined 54 adolescent children aged 11 to 18 years for 3 months. Over the 3-month period, they noticed 3 specific themes that continuously occurred amongst all the children. The first theme identified was that stress, depression, low self-esteem, and suicidal thoughts were all impacts of social media usage. Many of the students admitted that the social media that they were using was bad for their well-being and mood. Specific students mentioned how reading and listening to people rant online or argue with one another brings their mood down and can cause depression. Another student mentioned how viewing photoshopped images online of others causes them to have a low self-esteem about their body image since they don't look like the people in those photos. It was also mentioned how social media sets standards for people and can cause people to stress when they don't meet those standards and even leads to suicidal thoughts in some people. Stress, depression, low self-esteem, and suicidal thoughts may all lead to mental illnesses such as anxiety and depression, as seen by Michelle O'Reilly's first focus point. The second focus theme expressed strongly by Michelle O'Reilly was cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is very common amongst young children who use social media. Many of the kids she studied did not even want to touch on the bullying experience that they had had from social media because they were so traumatized. This can go into show how it may later impact kids. Not talking about the experiences they've encountered may cause these kids to hold everything in and may cause the issues to grow. One student, aged 11, explained that cyberbullying comes mainly from social media and it is just normalized by them. They expect to be cyberbullied, which is never good for the mental health of individuals. Some examples of cyberbullying that the children did touch on were examples such as posting a picture and receiving backlash as something that they thought was meaningful. Bullies may see a photo as funny and choose to pick fun, and it could have been a picture that they really cared about. Many students faced this and stated that they were scared to tell an adult or a friend because they began to also think less about the picture, and they thought that many others would bully them even more. Trolling is another big aspect of cyberbullying. It refers to people who seek attention and make vicious or threatening comments in order to satisfy their own lack of confidence. Trolling is commonly seen across all social media platforms. In a study examined by Michelle O'Reilly, 2,014 to 18-year-olds reported that a third of them had been trolled. The third idea expressed by O'Reilly focuses on the ideas of addiction, disconnection from others, and sleeping habits. O'Reilly found that social media is very addictive among all age groups, which can lead to an excess of access to all the aforementioned ideas, leading to the issues among all users. The students feel like they have to stay on social media for reasons that they couldn't even explain. O'Reilly found that social media was almost like an online drug. This addiction has side effects similar to all addictions. One major side effect is a disconnection from family and friends. The need to constantly be checking social media allows for a majority of an individual's time being spent on the phone away from others. This addiction also leads to a lack of sleep. Students found that they became so addicted to social media that their sleep was limited. Kids found that they were staying up late on their phones. One 15-year-old stated that he found himself up late at night from continuously receiving messages, and if no one was messaging him, then he stayed up late constantly checking for messages. As we all know, lack of sleep can lead to a majority of things, one main one being stress, and stress may lead to a variety of mental illness. But the consistently of feeling tired every day is not good for anybody. If social media did not exist, many of the students stated that they would have gone to bed much earlier. In the textbook written by Comer, Chapter 7 focuses on suicide. A more specific chunk of Chapter 7 focuses on suicide amongst adolescents. Comer states that about 19% of all adolescent deaths result from suicide. There are official records showing that 8 out of every 100,000 United States teenagers aged 14 to 18 take their own lives, and at least 12% have suicidal thoughts, while 4 to 8% actually complete the action. Comer expressed how half of all teenager suicides stem from depression, or low self-esteem and hopelessness, which are all initial results of bullying, with one of the main types of bullying being cyberbullying on social media and other online forms of communication. With that being said, I have a couple questions for the class. First, do you believe that social media can have a positive impact on the mental health of people? Second, have you ever been a victim of cyberbullying on social media? Has it ever resulted in a negative impact on your mental health? Lastly, do you think that there is a way to limit the negative impact social media has on the mental health of the individuals that use it? Thank you for listening.